Welcome to a world where the lines between reality and the supernatural blur. Today we'll uncover 15 of New Zealand's most haunted schools, where eerie footsteps, shadowy figures, and ghostly whispers still haunt the halls. From Dunedin to Auckland, these stories will send shivers down your spine as we explore the terrifying and tragic pasts that linger within these institutions. First Street Anthony's Convent, Huntly, Waikato. St. Anthony's Convent once echoed with the quiet murmurs of nuns, their prayers filling the sacred halls. But today, the silence of this abandoned building is far more unsettling. After the convent was closed in the 1980s, ghost stories began to emerge. Visitors and locals alike report the chilling sensation of being watched from the shadows. The old principal's office, once a place of strict authority, is now a hub of paranormal activity. Whispers fill the air, soft prayers recited by unseen mouths. But as you strain to hear, the words seem distorted, their meaning lost to time. People walking past late at night describe the distinct sound of footsteps, heavy and deliberate, echoing through the empty halls, even though no one is there. Most chilling of all are the sightings of pale, shadowy figures moving through the rooms where the nuns once slept, as though they are still wandering these sacred grounds, trapped in a cycle of eternal devotion, or perhaps eternal unrest. 2. Dunedin North Intermediate, Dunedin. The corridors of Dunedin North Intermediate are thick with an atmosphere of dread. For decades, students have whispered about the spectral figure of a woman who haunts the school's old music room. She is dressed in heavy black Victorian clothing, her face hidden by a veil of darkness. This ghostly woman floats, her feet never touching the floor, moving as though she is in search of something. Perhaps a lost student, or maybe even a part of herself. At night, when the school is quiet and the halls are empty, the faint sound of a piano playing drifts through the building. It's a sorrowful, broken tune that seems to come from the ether. Those brave enough to investigate find the music room completely empty, with the piano lid closed. Teachers, too, have felt her presence. An unexplained coldness envelops anyone who stays in the room too long. Her story remains a mystery, but the fear she instills is very real. 3. Rangitoto College, Auckland. At Rangitoto College, the lines between the living and the dead blur in terrifying ways. The most notorious tale is that of the ghost in the hall, a figure who is said to roam the backstage of the school's auditorium. Students involved in late-night rehearsals report hearing strange noises, chairs scraping the floor, whispered conversations. But upon investigation, the space is always empty. Several claim to have seen a shadowy figure standing in the wings, watching the performance with a menacing stillness. Lights flicker unexpectedly, and the sound system often fails when no one is near it. Some say the ghost is that of a former student who died tragically young, returning to the place they loved most. But the shadowy figure is far from benevolent, and many students refuse to be alone in the auditorium for fear of being watched by those lifeless, empty eyes. 4. Hock College, Auckland. Hock College is home to a ghostly young girl, whose presence has been felt by students and staff for years. She is often seen near the school's old science block, her figure pale and translucent, barely visible in the daylight but clear as glass when night falls. Legend has it she drowned in a nearby creek, and now her spirit wanders the school grounds, eternally searching for her lost life. Students walking to their cars after dark have reported the sensation of cold, ghostly fingers brushing against their arms. Some have even seen her reflection in windows, standing right behind them, though when they turn, she is gone. Her face is never visible, hidden behind a curtain of wet hair, and her presence brings with it a deep, bone-chilling cold. The few who have heard her speak claim she whispers one word over and over again: help. But none have been brave enough to stay long enough to find out what kind of help she seeks. Aindam Malay Albert Grammar School, Auckland. At Mount Albert Grammar, the haunted legends center around the school's old gymnasium, where an unnatural cold fills the air, no matter the season. Students have long whispered about the ghost of a janitor who supposedly died in a tragic accident while cleaning the rafters late one night. Since then, eerie sounds of sweeping, doors slamming, and disembodied voices have been heard in the gym. But the most frightening accounts come from those who stay after hours and see him. A shadowy figure, tall and hunched, moving along the gym floor. His face is obscured, but his presence is overwhelming, filling anyone who encounters him with a sense of crushing dread. Some students claim he can be heard whispering as he sweeps the floor, his voice faint but distinct, as if he's forever repeating the task that led to his untimely death. Sextestrasse, Peters College, Auckland Street. Peters College is no stranger to ghost stories. Among the oldest schools in Auckland, it has seen its fair share of tragedy. Students often speak of the White Nun, a spectral figure dressed in a flowing white habit who appears during the cold winter months. She is usually seen standing near the chapel, her hands clasped in prayer, her head bowed. But what unnerves those who have encountered her is that she does not walk. She drifts across the ground, her form fading in and out of sight. Some say she is the ghost of a nun who passed away under mysterious circumstances when the school was first built, her soul forever tied to the grounds. Teachers, too, have experienced strange occurrences, from books falling off shelves to lights flickering wildly. But it is the ghostly nun who brings the most fear, her silent form a chilling reminder that some spirits never leave the places they once called home. 7. Palmerston North Boys High School. The historic Palmerston North Boys High School has long been the subject of sinister stories. One of the oldest buildings, known as the Tower Block, is where most of the haunting activity is said to occur. Students have reported the ghostly apparition of a former student who fell from the top of the tower many decades ago. His death was ruled an accident, but rumors suggest something more sinister was involved. Late at night, janitors and teachers working overtime claim to hear footsteps echoing through the empty halls and doors opening and closing on their own. Some who have ventured into the tower alone after dark speak of a cold hand brushing against their skin, followed by a sense of dread that chills them to the bone. The ghost is said to be restless, replaying his tragic fall over and over, seeking justice, or perhaps just peace. 8. Lynfield College, Auckland. At Lynfield College, the air is thick with stories of the supernatural. The library, in particular, has become a hotspot for ghostly encounters. Late at night, students passing by have heard the sound of books falling from shelves, though no one is inside. The library lights flicker, and the temperature drops suddenly, as though a presence has entered the room. Teachers report feeling watched when they're alone, with some claiming to see fleeting shadows out of the corner of their eye. Legend has it that the spirit belongs to a former librarian who passed away under mysterious circumstances. She is said to roam the shelves, ensuring that the books remain in order, but her wrath is felt when things are out of place. Students avoid the library after hours, afraid of disturbing the restless ghost of Lynfield. 9. Wellington Girls College. Wellington Girls College, with its long history, has a dark secret that lingers in its old dormitories. The school's boarding houses are said to be haunted by a former student who tragically took her own life many years ago. Since then, students have reported hearing soft sobbing coming from empty rooms. The air grows heavy with sadness, and a chilling wind blows through closed windows. Those who have seen the ghost describe her as a pale, translucent figure, standing at the foot of their beds late at night. Her expression is sorrowful, as though she is trapped in her grief. Students who encounter her are left with a feeling of overwhelming sadness and dread, as though they too are burdened by the weight of her despair. Some say the ghost is still searching for closure, while others believe she simply cannot let go of the pain that ended her life. 10th Otago Boys High School, Dunedin. Otago Boys High School, steeped in history, has more than one ghost story tied to its name. The old boarding house, with its creaky wooden floors and dimly lit hallways, is the center of the paranormal activity. Former students tell tales of a shadowy figure seen at the end of the hall, watching them as they sleep. The figure is said to be the ghost of a young boy who died under suspicious circumstances many years ago. His presence is often accompanied by the sound of muffled crying and footsteps that grow louder as they approach, only to stop abruptly when no one is seen. The school chapel is also rumored to be haunted, with the ghost of a former headmaster seen praying at the altar late at night. His figure, clad in an old-fashioned suit, fades into the darkness, leaving behind a cold, oppressive silence that lingers long after he's gone. 11th Wanganui Collegiate School. Wanganui Collegiate School is home to several ghosts, but none as terrifying as the Grey Lady who roams the school's corridors. She is often seen standing near the main staircase, her gray dress blending with the shadows. Her face is pale and expressionless, and she moves without making a sound. Students and staff who encounter her report feeling an overwhelming sense of fear, as though the very air around them is thick with danger. The Grey Lady is said to be the ghost of a former matron who died in a fire that destroyed part of the school many decades ago. Her spirit, trapped by the flames that took her life, is doomed to wander the halls, eternally searching for an escape from the inferno that claimed her. Some have even claimed to smell smoke when she appears, though no fire can be found. 12th. Tarroa College, Tarroa. Tarroa College may seem like an ordinary school, but behind its peaceful facade lies a chilling secret. The school is said to be haunted by the ghost of a young girl who drowned in the nearby river decades ago. Her spirit is often seen by students walking through the school grounds, her long, wet hair dripping water onto the ground as she walks. Those who have seen her say that she looks sad and lost, as though she is searching for something or someone. The most terrifying part of her haunting occurs near the riverbank, where students have reported hearing her calling out for help, her voice filled with desperation. But when they rush to the water, there is no one there. Her tragic story lingers, a reminder of the dangers that lurk just beyond the school gates. 13th, Avendale College, Auckland. The ghost that haunts Avendale College is said to be that of a former teacher who died under mysterious circumstances many years ago. Late at night, the school's science labs become a place of eerie encounters, with lights flickering and equipment turning on by itself. Students and staff alike have reported hearing footsteps echoing through the empty halls, but when they turn to look, no one is there. The most unsettling encounters occur in the chemistry lab, where the ghost is said to manifest. Objects move on their own, and the air grows heavy with the smell of sulfur. Those who have seen the apparition describe it as a shadowy figure standing by the blackboard, watching intently as though still teaching a class that ended long ago. Some say the ghost is trying to finish the lesson he never completed, but others believe he is searching for the truth behind his untimely death. 14th Street Hildas Collegiate School, Dunedin Street. Hildas Collegiate School has its own resident ghost, a figure known as the Nun in White. She is often seen near the school's chapel, her face hidden beneath a white veil. Students who have encountered her describe feeling an overwhelming sense of calm, though others are left shaken by her sudden, silent appearances. The Nun in White is said to be the ghost of a nun who died while caring for 6 students during an influenza outbreak. Her spirit remains tied to the school, watching over the students as she did in life. But not all encounters are peaceful. Some say they have seen her weeping, her ghostly form trembling with grief, as though she is reliving the tragedy that took so many young lives. Her presence serves as a reminder of the school's dark past, a history filled with sorrow and loss. 15. Queen Charlotte College, Picton. Queen Charlotte College may seem like an idyllic place to study, nestled in the quiet town of Picton, but after dark, the school takes on a far more sinister atmosphere. Students who stay late for rehearsals or events have reported seeing a figure standing by the edge of the school's sports field, just visible in the dim light. The figure is that of a young girl, her hair flowing in the wind, but her face is always turned away. Those brave enough to approach her describe a sudden feeling of dread, as though they are not meant to see her. The most chilling encounters occur when she begins to move, walking towards the river with a slow, deliberate pace, her body fading into the mist before she reaches the water. It is said that she drowned in the river many years ago, and her spirit is forever drawn to the place of her death, unable to escape its pull. These tales of haunted schools in New Zealand remind us that some spirits never rest. Whether they're seeking redemption, justice, or simply lost in time, their presence continues to haunt the living. If you ever find yourself near one of these eerie locations, remember, you might not be alone. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more haunting stories from around the world. Stay spooky.